What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. This is episode 30. Now,
30. Steph Curry episode.
It's only right. The Steph Curry episode. You know what I'm saying? We'll call it what it is. The greatest 30 of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Go with it.
I'd never called him GOAT anything else. You know, I barely wanted to agree.
He could be the greatest 30.
He's the greatest
right?
guy to ever wear the jersey 30 of all time. You got that, Steph. We're proud of you, boy. With that being said, my name's Jared. Denzel is the co-host, and we're going to get into some cigar talk and a little bit of everything else. Now, I don't want to waste no time. I say let's go ahead and get into the stars of the show. For me, I know what I'm smoking today. It'll be the Oscar Vallardares.
Come on, man. Come on, get
Oscar V. It's the Oscar V. I'm smoking that Oscar V today.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll roll with it. So, what led you to picking that one up? Was it an eye thing, an eye grabber, or you hear anything particular about it that, you know what I'm saying, that made you want to pick that one up specifically?
You know, man, this is interesting. I always talk about, well, not always, but I've mentioned before how I found my new shop that I like to go to, and my guy doesn't really be acting like he know me. So come in this day, mask off, he recognizes me. I'm like, okay, it's about time you recognize me, man. You know, I've been doing business with you for a while. He like, hey, man, you know, same routine, look around, you know, let me know, you know, they got to touch it in their shop. So he like, I'm going to grab it, let me know what I'm getting. So I'm looking around. And can't lie, man, just the fact that it was wrapped in a leaf is what caught my attention. That leaf wrapping is what caught my attention because you mentioned it. And I said, man, let me go copy Denzel and go get one.
Oscar got me with that one.
Yeah. So I figured I'd give it a shot.
Okay. All right.
That's how we got it.
So got any specifics about it that you want to go over real quick?
Show prep. Didn't do it. You let me know what you got, and I will be letting you know the specifics of the cigar.
All right. Cool. So quick break, and we'll segue into mine. All right. So mine was a game time decision, man. I actually switched my choice of cigar. I was gonna go with a Java Mint. That's one of the ones you highlighted a few months ago. And I had a taste for it. I was in the cigar shop yesterday. I saw the Java Mint. It was actually the first one I picked up before I picked up anything else. Something just said, man, I'm in the mood for Java Mint. So I grabbed it with the intention of smoking it. But pairing it with the drink I have, I'm drinking some red wine. And I just didn't feel like the Java Mint was going to match well with the red wine. So I went ahead and switched out. Game time decision with the Rocky Patel 55. So that's the one right there. One of my favorites. One of my favorite Rocky Patels.
Hey,
I don't think we've reviewed this one on the podcast. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think we went over this one. But yeah, one of my favorites. One of my favorite Rockies.
I think I had a 55 on the show.
Okay.
I might have had a smaller size though. I don't think I had regular size. I had something unique.
I kind of wish I would with the mint, but I don't feel like it's gonna pair well with my wine, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a wine mood today.
What kind of wine you on?
Just some sweet red.
Sweet red.
Sweet red. That's all. Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So I got the information for you. I got a Honduras binder, Honduras filler, and I got Honduras country of origin, man. So it's Honduras through and through. So we're going to show them Honduran cigars a little bit of love today.
There we go. I didn't have to do too much show prep. Mine actually has on the wrapper with exactly what it is. It tells you that it's a Nicaraguan wrapper with the Costa Rica binder and a Nicaraguan filler. All on the wrapper. It tells me everything I need to know about the cigar right here on the wrapper. Rocky Patel always taking it to another level, man.
Rocky coming through, looking out for the people. Hey, man. I ain't mad.
So no guessing once you pick it up.
Hey, he is great for the culture. Rocky is a cigar ambassador for the cigar culture, man. We love it.
Hey, man. Hey, got to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Has been one of those guys that's really been sticking their necks out and doing all they can to be accommodating to whatever level cigar smoker you are, whether you're a novice, you know what I'm saying, or whether you're a veteran in the game. So,
hey, brother,
shout out to that.
What do I do with this leaf? I'm ready to
Go
get
ahead,
started.
take the leaf off, man. Take the leaf off. Just take it off, just like it's a plastic wrapper. Same thing.
I'm a very
get to
patient
it.
unwrapper at Christmas time. I annoy people under the tree. How patient I am, making sure I don't mess up the paper and stuff.
Nah, man, you got to rip that off, man. You got to go get to the goods.
I see. It's the only, look like the right way. Only way. Oh, Lord. Sorry, Leaf. Can I?
All right, so
oh yeah, I got you. I ain't even got to do that. Look, boom.
I'm giving my 55 the star treatment. We got the cedar spills, so I'm toasting it slowly. I got a V cut on a torpedo end.
They get to see you with the matches today. I mean, hopefully the cameras is rolling. We'll see if we actually get this video posted or not. You know, the cameras always be rolling.
We're gonna be told. Right.
Y'all just don't get it. Like the smell of this cigar, this Oscar here. You smell wonderful, Oscar. That good dark Maduro wrapper.
All right, so we got the 55 lit, and in Rocky fashion, pepper off the top. But done very well. Real smooth pepper. Here we go. And how did you cut yours? You went with a straight cut?
I did. Straight cut. Something about this cigar gave me real nostalgia just now. I mean, heavy nostalgia. It took me, I felt like that took me to 2011, 2012-ish.
Took you to the...
It took us to the
early times. Yeah.
Early times. Something took me there. One match shorty strikes again, too, just so you know.
Got it with one match. All right. So, well, what about it's taking you back? Like, what does it remind you of? Can you put your finger on it?
I don't know. Maybe it took it. I don't know. It had to be something like an edge. It's got to take me back to that era because we were smoking a lot of edges during that time.
A lot of edge.
Edge. Maybe the edge, maybe some Alec Bradley that I was into at that time, you know, but that's the time frame I feel like I immediately became that guy again. Like I became 10 years younger. Like, you know, and I'm like
time machine.
Oh my goodness. I went straight in the time machine. I felt like that guy again, man. I was that same person I was back then for a moment. The energy took over my body.
Nice. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes a cigar do that to you. And that's matter of fact, I was looking for Romeo. I was talking to a young cigar smoker who just started smoking cigars and asked me about Romeo. And he loved it. And I said, yeah, man, that's one of the that is the cigar I started out with. My very first cigar. So I actually was looking for that early feeling. So it's interesting that you just said that because yesterday in the humidor when I was searching for cigars, I was actually looking for a particular Romeo. You know, I actually want to get back into smoking that early Romeo that I had and get those feelings back. Because this young guy, he kind of took me back into that, like when he was raving about his Romeo and one of the first cigars he smoked. And I'm like, man, I remember back when my first cigar, my first moment, you know, it took me back to those early times too. So I was looking for that Romeo. I'm on a quest to find it, trying to find the right one.
Hey man, eventually you'll find it. I don't remember what your band looked like to even get you going, man. But that's a hell of a quest to go on, man. I hope you figure it out.
Yeah. Got to. I
Had
know
been
it
a
came
good
in one of
cigar because
those
it kept you in the
tubes.
game. You know what
It
I'm
kept
saying?
me in
As
the
a novice.
game. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
regardless of what you think today, it was solid.
So we talk about cigar smoking, man, and we're talking about the time machine. And we know a lot of older gentlemen who smoke cigars and live a wonderful life based on that cigar culture and enjoying cigars.
Right.
And it kind of being that time machine or of sort.
Mm-hmm.
You know, talk to me about how you feel about your cigar moments and how they kind of, you know, use as a life preserver in a sense.
Um, I don't. For me, it's a celebratory thing. It's a thing when I'm feeling good that I want to go do. It's a thing that brings enjoyment for me. It can even bring a form of meditation, you know,
Yeah,
and not a
yeah.
meditation from a sense of I'm stressed out, I need to meditate, but from I feel like being at peace. I'm in a good space and I want to just kind of clear my head and be at peace. So I think all of those things contribute to putting you at a place of, like you say, where your youth or retaining who you are in a sense, and cigars have been something that does that for me, man, where and I'm glad that it's not become a crutch for me for
Yeah.
when you're in a bad place, like an alcohol can be, or like a cigarette can be. I don't know that cigars can be this. Because when I've been down, I ain't never once thought, let me go smoke a
Want to
cigar.
smoke a cigar?
When I've been down, I'm
Which
like,
is
man, let me
crazy
stay
though.
away from the cigar. Like, I don't deserve a cigar.
Yeah.
Like, it's been my thought process. I'm not worthy of
So
you.
I don't deserve a cigar right now.
Nah, I ain't
Yeah.
feeling like a
I
boss.
don't
I don't
deserve
need
that
that.
moment. My moment right now is not living up to the expectation that the cigar smoke is expected of me right now.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm not there.
And that's how I am with it. So I don't know if other people, other people in the culture, other brothers and sisters really feel that way, but that's how I personally feel. So it's been great for me in that sense.
Okay.
About yourself?
Yeah. From my angle, man, like it came into a realization for me when we talked about, especially in the last episode, when I hadn't smoked, I haven't enjoyed some cigar time in a while, and picking up that cigar for the first time in a few weeks or whatever, and sitting down and actually enjoying that moment. It's one of those things that kind of makes time stand still in a sense. So it preserves you in the moment, especially when you're feeling good. And it's a reset. It's a reset button for me a lot of times. When I get to a point and I stop and I can actually pause and enjoy my cigar time, it's kind of like hitting the reset button. All right, we can go again.
Right.
And it keeps me from getting to the point of hitting that edge as far as like, just reflecting, remembering that moment while I'm enjoying that cigar, like where I need to be, where I need to go. You can kind of take those moments to like really soak in where you are, and you kind of hit that pause, let life stand still for a minute while you enjoy that cigar. Let things run around you, but you're still in that moment. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I was having when I kind of came back. It's like, man, this is what I've been missing. And I had some kind of resolve in the moment. Not saying like I was in a bad spot to where I'm down and not feeling up to myself, but it's like it's just a moment just to hit the reset button. Pause for a minute, enjoy, reflect, and just be able to take that moment and propel myself to the next moment.
All right. Hey man, cigars is beautiful that way, man. It provides us all a similar but unique experience as far as what it does for us, and it helps in its own sense for all of us in our own way. Like I said, if I feel good, I smoke a cigar, I feel better. Like and not necessarily
Yeah.
physically, but it's something mentally and emotionally. It's a positive trigger for me, so.
Right. There you go. I'm with you on that. Definitely with you on that. But yeah, man, so about this cigar, man, it's 55. I haven't had one in a while. Like I said, I can't remember if I smoked one on the show or not. You said that you did. I can't remember how long ago, but it's I think it's been a while for this. But man, what a cigar! Like it has those peppers, but it handles the pepper very, very well. Easy, mild smoke in the very beginning, even with the pepper. Medium body, not a lot of heavy smoke. But man, I'm really enjoying this 55 off First Light. I'm kind of missed this guy. It's been a while.
Yeah. I guess my first thoughts of the Oscar is I am definitely enjoying the cigar, but I have not fully put my finger on exactly what I'm picking up on my palate entirely.
Okay.
It's an earthiness to it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe there's a cocoa to it, but beyond that, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's got me thrown off, but it feels familiar. It feels familiar to me. I want to go pick up an edge now and see, is this exactly what I feel like? I feel like that's what it is. But medium body also.
Okay.
Could venture into being full, but I would say medium body smoke is what I'm experiencing also. Nice aroma off the smoke. Almost a creaminess to it, even though it's a full medium to full type smoke I'm picking up on also.
Yeah.
Very easy to deal with. So look, man, I want to shift gears here with you for a moment to another conversation. I was thinking about this recently, and you let me know your thoughts on it. Do you feel like?
Okay.
I feel like society is starting to venture away from organized religion. Doesn't seem to be the staple in the community that it once was, even 10 years ago. Is that my perspective, or is that something you pick on just in culture in general when you listen to how people talk and some of the references that you hear about it, or the amount of people you see in church or whatever?
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm gonna say I actually have a lot I can speak on when it comes to that, because I've had some very strong opinions as of recent. Would I say that our culture is kind of gearing away from organized religion as a staple? And I would say, yeah, I think so. And this is coming from me. Was that?
I said, seems to be right.
Yeah, and this is coming from me. I'm a churchgoer. I'm a Christian, and I've been going to church all my life. So it's something I've been a part of for a very, very long time in different regions of the world and of the country, and in different cultures, and seeing different things in different walks of life, and being abreast of how society is going nowadays. I can definitely say, for sure, is the esteem for religion or churches, in my opinion, has dwindled quite a bit. And it was a time, in my opinion, or from what I've seen, that people wouldn't want to speak bad on the church publicly. Even if they've had personal experiences that weren't great experiences. It wouldn't be widespread, easy to talk bad about the church or church figures, or people who are in religious positions. But you see it more and more so now. I mean, with good reason. Well, not, I wouldn't say with good reason, but with reason. Right. Well, you can say good reason, because there's been a lot of scandal, a lot of things that's happened to where it puts a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths as far as what they've seen, and people using religion for not good. using it for evil, using it for agenda, using it for personal gain. So you look at that and you can say, yeah, all right, well, I'm not feeling that because of what they've seen, what they've been shown. But I think even still in the past, it's happened before, but then there was still a level of respect or a level of, high esteem that's kind of been cut over the last few decades. I think we're really going away from that. We're getting a lot of other types of teachings of a self-care type of thing where people feel like they can go get church on their own or find their connection with spirituality in other places.
Right. Yeah. I see more people who are claiming spiritual than religious. And in a sense, they're both fighting the same fight. You know what I'm saying? Same goals in mind. But somewhere, organized religion really pushed people away. And I can't put my finger on when it occurred, but it ran people off, and people are more hesitant to believe in organized belief system than, like you say, to find it within themselves. Which I believe you can find it within yourself also. There's no issue with that, but that's not really what's in question for me. It's just what happened in people's minds where they just said, I'm done with the system of it,
Well, we can speak to, there's been plenty instances. I mean, you can look at the Catholic Church and the scandals that's been in that. You can look at the mega churches and look at the scandals that's been in that. You can look at the small churches.
When did society as a whole say, all right, that's the final straw? Because like you said, it's always been scandals in the churches. It's always been, but
since
we never just
the beginning of time
speaking on it. Yeah, we never publicly outright spoke against it. Like now, it's at a time where people are like, all right, enough's enough, man. I'm done with that. Is it the leaders within the church who have created this issue where people now feel like, you have abused your power as a leader. You made too much money off of me. You made it about finances. You did something. Well, you abuse the children. What is it? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wouldn't say
I'm easy on that now. Like,
I wouldn't say it's necessarily the particular leaders of churches, but certain leaders of certain churches. I don't know if I made that make any sense.
No.
Like, so it's not a huge umbrella to bring everybody into it. But I think when
it that way either. Let me clarify that too. Yeah.
I think it's more so of this is where I'll pinpoint it at, because me, even as a churchgoer, I kind of got a bad taste in my mouth from the wide broadcast of church, right? And I think that in certain sectors it became bigger than what they expected it to be. I'll throw out some particular names. I don't know if you know any of these guys, but the Eddie Long and TD Jakes, not putting them in the same category because they're two totally different types of situations there. The Creflo Dollars and, certain people who have just gotten huge, across the world. And then with that happening, and then it being so publicized of their financial gains and certain things like that, and just kind of puts a bad taste in people's mouths. Like, and I have a conflict in view with this, because if you're a pastor and you're doing good works in the world, who's to say you can't stack your pockets too, just like a doctor would? A doctor does great things, and he's able to pad his pocket, right? Saves lives. He can pad his pockets a little bit. You're a pastor. You're going out. You're taking care of the community and doing things. Who says you can't have a nice car to drive? So when it comes to stuff like that, and people down pastors for having a little bit of money, I don't like that talk, because anybody else can have money in the world, but you don't want a pastor to have money when they're trying to reach people, especially if they're a good one. Now, if they're a corrupt one, yeah, let's do what we got to do. But not saying a pastor can't have a nice house and a nice car, and do things that they need to do. Yeah, so they should have a salary, And who says they should have a medial salary? Like they should make school teacher money, even though I think school teachers should make more money. But if you can have a ball player make millions, a pastor can make a couple $100,000. It's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that. But it's just the fact on the large scale, and you see so many different things. And once it's been so widely publicized, and you got to think the high publicized era of church was like that 90s era, late 80s to 90s. Of course, you had some guys in the 60s and 70s who were big, big preachers and stuff like that. But then the late 80s, 90s, going into the early 2000s, that's when it got huge and it was seen all over the place. And I think that's kind of was the beginning of the end of that high respect, because you were just seeing too much and there's too many questions. And as we age up, I'm in my teens in the 90s, and now that we're the adults of the society, there's people who were us when we were younger and seeing that happen and seeing this shift happen. Now we're the authority, quote unquote, on how we should look at things and the messages that we're passing on to society. We're the ones who have the microphones now, who can speak in the podcasts and the radios and have influence and tell people, maybe you shouldn't go this way, or there's something you can find within yourself instead of going to a place and they're always asking you for money and stuff like that. I can see where the shift might have happened over the last 10, 15 years from that era. Now just being a residual of that era.
Right. It's possible. That makes sense. And what, in my opinion, could correct some of that distrust for the church because of the monetization of the church is if the church was just a little more open about their financial records. Like, I mean, we're paying for it. We pay the utilities. Why is it not? Why can't I have access to seeing what is all going towards utilities? What's going towards the lawns, landscaping, lights, water, the mortgage or the rent or whatever it is. I know you're not paying taxes, so what is all going towards that? And what's left over going towards you? Now, like you said, the pastor can get rich if circumstances work out for you to get rich. But I don't think the pastor should be getting rich off of what is given with the intentions of being towards the actual church.
Something else. Yeah.
Yes. Now, if there's a pastor offering that come around, put that out there. What you get out the plate is what you get out the plate. And that was what your congregation intended for you. That's what we felt was your value. Don't eat off of what's left over from the bills in that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Now, I don't want you coming back to me later on saying we got an event. And where's the money gonna come from? We need some money for the event.
Like, we just gave y'all a bunch of money. What are you talking about?
Y'all profitable. There's no taxes. You know what I'm saying? What is going on? Like, I think that the fact that it's so much that's hidden, the records aren't open and people don't know, so we can only assume. And you're going to assume the worst when the pastor's got a Benz and everybody in the congregation is praying and hoping for things to get better, and it ain't getting better, but pastor's still living good. And all you can tell me is, well, God loves me. Look what I'm doing for you. That's why he loved me. I'm giving to you. Like, then it start feeling like some pimping is going in the game. And I think maybe as you talk about it, that's probably what causes that.
Yeah, and that is true. But believe it or not, there are quite a few churches that have moved to that do share their and a lot of people might not know this. Like, especially those who might not go to church or their church doesn't do this, but being someone who's moved around a lot and I've gone to a lot of different churches. Of course, whenever I move to another area every so many years, I go to I don't know how many different churches until I find the one I feel like is right for me. But particularly in Georgia, the church I went to down there, every quarter they would have a financial meeting. And honestly, they shared a little bit too much for me. After they'll pick a particular Sunday of each quarter, and they'll actually put on a screen and they'll go through every single place where all the money's allocated. So a lot of churches have been doing that. I can't say that all churches are doing that, but I know that quite a bit of churches have been doing that. The one I go to here, Texas, they kind of did it. They did a little bit, but the one in Georgia, they did overkill. Honestly, it's like I don't need to see everything. Like y'all sharing too much. Like this meeting's going a little bit too long.
Yeah.
But some churches that do that. Believe it or not, and some people might not know it, but I can speak to that off of experience. And I do know that there are some churches out there that do open their books and show you all the money that they made. Now, are they being true with their reports or not? I can't say for sure. I don't see every dime that goes in.
Yeah. We can have a little bit of trust.
Yeah, but they do that. Some do that. I'm not saying all of them do it. I'm pretty sure there's quite a few out there that's taking money and stuffing it to the side and not telling people where the money's really going.
Right.
But
at the end of the day, Jesus was a carpenter. If you gotta if you gotta work a job, you ain't gotta feel guilty. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you don't have to work a job, you ain't gotta feel guilty either. But
good.
You don't. It's whatever your that's why I said earlier, whatever your circumstances turn out to be is what it turns out to be.
My pastor, when I was in Texas, man, he drove an S550. That thing was nice. I wasn't mad at it. I'm like, hey, look, whatever God doing for him, do it for me too. You know what I'm saying?
I guess it comes down to a matter of perspective, but it's whoever's. I'm not mad at them making their money though. You know what I'm saying?
Let me speak to this real quick, because this is a funny circumstance that happened when I started going to this church here in Virginia. They had a giving day, right? Giving day. Uh-huh. And they would have people come up and give a certain amount of money. It was weird that they did it this way. They kind of bracketed and said, okay, if you're giving between this much and this much, come on down. If you give between this much and this much, come on down. 500,000, 2,000, 3,000. So they were doing it in categories and waves, right? Mm-hmm. And they got up to the 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000. I'm like, man, they're going to keep going. And people still getting up there going. I'm sitting back doing the math. Okay, I saw 10 people get up for the 1,000. That's 10,000. Yeah. I seen 5 people get up for the 2,000. That's another 10,000. I'm counting. They got up to 5,000. I see 7 people go up. And after the service, it was interesting to see my daughter, my oldest daughter, and myself. We had 2 different perspectives on what just happened. With her, she was kind of put off by it. He's like, I don't like the fact that they did that. That's weird and this and that. But my perspective was, whatever they're doing to be able to give that amount of money freely, I want to be put in that position to be able to give like they give. I sat back in the back. I didn't get up for none of it because I couldn't afford to get up for none of it, right? Yeah. But we had 2 different perspectives. So my mindset was, let me up my game to the point to where if somebody says, hey, if you got $5,000 to give, I can get up and give $5,000. And these people were giving cheerfully. You know what I'm saying? When the Bible says cheerful, God loves a cheerful giver or whatever. I wanted to be that guy, being able to get up and giving $5,000 with no problems, no pressure, no none of this. But she, in her generation, which I've seen in our generation as well, people kind of put off by that certain thing. But I think it's a mindset that has to shift when it comes to thinking about giving money. Don't give if you don't have it to give, but then you do make your sacrifice as much as you can, right? I'm not saying give and don't have nothing to pay your bills and eat food with, but give what you can. And I want to be in a position where I can give $10,000 and not bat an eye. That's the position I had, from my perspective. And we had 2 polar opposite perspectives on the giving thing. And it's taking me time to get there, though. Like, I haven't always been that, but it's taking me time to get there.
Well, I think I take your oldest daughter position in that.
No, I can understand it. I can understand it.
I say to myself, outside, I have no issue with your stance of saying, hey, I want to be in that position to be able to give freely. Mm-hmm. But I'm I'm not worried about the congregation that gave that the donators that them aside. Why would you put your people in a position where now ego can become involved in giving? That's why I side with where your daughter comes from, because it's like, okay, well, you've kind of put this into. There's competitive. People are competitive. Church people too. Yeah. We all are. Like, you know what I'm saying? So somebody may have gave cheerfully who shouldn't have gave 5,000 and should have probably gave 2, but they gave 5.
2,000.
They had the 5 to give. But ego comes into play. We are all egotistical. You know what I'm saying? Like it may be 10% of your personality. It may be 80% of your personality. It may be 2% of your personality. But it exists within us all. Like, so that's what makes that awkward for me. It's just like, why put people in a position to do that other than you're gonna make the most off of doing it that way? Like,
No, you play off people's ego, like you said. I mean, which could have been a strategy. I don't know. Well played if they did. But but at the same time, like, my position was just oddly different, even for myself. And I just felt like,
you found inspiration.
I found inspiration in it. Like, it actually, like, that's actually the words I use when I talk to her. Like, it actually inspired me to up my game. You know what I'm saying? To get myself in a position to where I can do that. Not like you said, did everybody who give a certain number, were they really in that position to be able to give and be able to take care of everything they need to take care of still? No. I don't know. I can't say for sure. Yeah. But that is something that could turn, like I said, turn people off from organized religion. Those are some of the things that put us in this position that we are now.
Church is a place that, and I mean this respectfully, all respect intended. It sells hope, it sells inspiration, sells motivation. So if you were able to get it out of that situation, then the church did its job that day. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that goes to church is looking for something to get them through the next week. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. Of course, you're looking for more than that, but that is a piece of what you're looking for out of your experience. You know what I'm saying? Something to motivate, inspire, to keep you going, to make you feel like there's a brighter day on the other side, to make you feel like, everything's going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but then also at the same time, but check this out though. So this is where, okay, I get it. It's church, and not a lot of people look at church in this perspective. But if people are willing to pay thousands of dollars for seminars, or they pay thousands of dollars for a personal motivating coach or whatever, and that's what they get out when they go to these conferences of, money making conferences that inspire and motivate and all these things, and they're willing to give their money to that. Why not give it to my perspective? Especially if I go to this church once a week, twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, and they're giving me something that gets me through the next day and the next week and the next month, and they're building something in me. I pay tithes every paycheck, and I have no problem doing it because this few $100 I have, I could be paying it to somebody I sit down and talk to,
therapist or a counselor
on a week to week. Yeah, therapist or counselor. Yeah. I'm getting my counseling from my pastor. Every time he preaches, I'm getting something from the word. Now, if you're going to a church that's not really feeding you and you're not getting anything out of the sermons or from the church service, then that's probably not the place for you. So it's like if you're going to a counselor or a therapist and they ain't really doing much for you, you're gonna stop paying them. You're gonna go somewhere else.
All right.
But if I feel like I'm getting my needs met from what I'm going to every Sunday morning, right? Well, here you go. Because it's helping me get through the next one to continue to make what I make and sustain what I sustain to the next week and the week after and the month after. So, yeah, here's a couple $100. I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think it's a perspective.
Yeah, I think they serve the same purpose.
It's just the fact that people look at it at a church like you're not supposed to be feeding off the people. You're supposed to be giving to the people.
Yeah.
It's both ways. Like you have to give a little bit to get a little bit, or give a little bit to get a lot. In anything it is,
I think
But
that
now, if you don't have it to give, it's still there for you. It's still a resource for you if you don't have it to give.
right. I think that could be part of what the problem is too, is that now that we go into more modern times, we all understand the value and the importance of money in whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And that it takes money to keep stuff going and to keep humans motivated to keep doing things. I think part of the problem is the church never really owned up to the importance of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if they would just openly say, hey, look, we're sincere in the word we're giving. We believe what we're saying. We're trying to help out, but we need money. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think people would step away and just look at it. All right, let me stop looking at the church like something other than the same counselor I'm going to, or the same motivational speaker I'm going to when I go to their webinar, or I go to this. It's all a form of church, but church is religion and God, and these other things is, hey, be positive, do this, do that. You know what I'm saying? We're speaking the same stuff, but one is backed in God and the other is not using the word God. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you're willing to give your money to one because one wants your money versus the other you think don't want your money, but they need your money. You know what I'm saying?
They need your money. Yeah, they got to keep their doors open somehow. You ride by a church and you see a nice manicured lawn. How do you think they accomplished that?
Right.
So, how do you think they got paid for? Like, how do you think the lights are on every time you walk in? How do you think those microphones work and electricity runs? And then all
those people are sitting there playing that music for you that sounds so good. Sometimes you pay them.
They have to pay those musicians. That's true.
Yeah. So, I think it takes a shift in mindset of the people also and how they view the church, or maybe the church just acknowledging, hey, y'all got to look at us a little different than way y'all looking at us. Like, that's old school. Like, to look at us that way. We need some money around here too. Like, so then once money is once it's acknowledged, hey, they need some money, then we can stop holding them accountable to not need money or start treating them like they don't.
You can get over that aspect, but then now we have so many other aspects to get over too. Yeah. Because if you, in my opinion, that's one of the top things that turn people off. It is, I'm well enough to acknowledge that. Like, we know how sensitive that topic gets.
Yeah. People get over all the touching little boys in the Catholic Church, but the money part they don't get over. Yeah. It's like, hey, brother, like, what's up with this bread? You play with my money. That's when people can't get past that, man. And that's which is crazy. But hey, look, enough time on the churches and whatnot, man. Let's get into the halfway mark of the cigars, man. Let's discuss where we at. I got a pretty good burn going here on this.
Still in your first third?
Still in the first third though, man. It's burning slow. Burning slowly.
Yeah. Looks like I'm at the tail end of my first third. We getting there. We getting there. Get close to second, third. And I'm kind of even out on the pepper. The pepper's kind of dialed back a little bit more. Still a smooth cigar. I'm picking up more notes of like some those earthy notes are coming in on that first third. Nothing really more than that, but just a solid woody oak earthiness, and it's just real smooth right now, real smooth. And I think the cedar helped out really well as far as accentuating that coming into the end of the first third.
Right. Okay. Mine's pretty much staying pretty similar through and through. Also, man, like I as I'm moving into this towards the tail end of this first third and about to hit my second, I pick up on a little coffee to go along with it, but still just earthy and a little cocoa, maybe a little woody here and there, but it's pretty much consistent with what it is. I'm not mad at that. I enjoy it for what it is, it's
yeah. I don't know if we ever mentioned this or whatever. Is there any particular note or flavor that you look forward to picking up in the cigar? And if you don't get it, are you disappointed?
That's a great question. I've never actually consciously thought about that, man. So I guess not. Not for me. Is
Okay,
this something for
okay.
yourself?
Honestly, I'd like to get a little cocoa in there every now and then. Like you got to hit me at some point, whether it's at the end, at the beginning. Like I look forward to. We talked about how I like complexities a little bit, and I think that's something I look forward to hitting me at least at one point in the smoke. Is that cocoa? Like it's a great flavor. I enjoy it. So, not saying I'm completely disappointed or I'm down on a cigar if it doesn't ever give me that at any point, but if it does, I'm pleasantly surprised, or I'm happy to look forward to it when it comes.
Yeah, that's a great question, and maybe I'll eventually have an answer for you a few episodes down the line. Now that you brought it up, but no, I think I literally go into every cigar just blindly excited for the ride. Like, yay, what's it gonna be? Like, and I don't think about it. Like
Yeah.
literally, I'd be like the guy that goes to Six Flags amusement park, and I'm like, blindfold me and take me to a line. Like, and then I just get to the top of the line. I'm like, all right, let's
Like,
get
okay,
on.
yeah, this was good. Or this ride was trash.
After, but I don't see the ride the whole line. It's just like, all right, now I'm getting in the ride, take my blindfold off, let's go ride. Like, yes. I think that's my approach to cigars, man. I just be excited to see what's to come. Like once I light it up and go, but never really thought to look forward. Like, man, I hope this is like that or never.
Yeah, I definitely have those moments. I definitely have those moments. I can say that I do like to look for a particular thing to come out of a cigar at some point. At some point.
All right, so I sent you show prep today. We rarely show prep. Those who actually follow all the episodes, you probably heard us talk about our lack of show prep. We freestyle these shows from start to finish. Now, with that being said, boxing match last night. It was a rematch between Alexander Usyk and Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was the champion. He lost his titles, went to the rematch, lost the rematch by a split decision. So after the fight, he has a meltdown. He's fighting with an old man in the back, and then he comes back out after trying to fight with somebody. Hold on. He's fighting with somebody in the ring. They rush him out the ring, gets into it with some old man backstage, comes back out, and he snatches the belts up, who haven't belonged to him in 2 fights anyway, throws them out the ring. Then he confronts Usyk and starts saying, how did you win? How did you win? You're not strong. Like, and they go into this whole back and forth, man. Before I get into my take on it, man, what was your take of what you saw?
Well, first off, it was confusing because I didn't know what was happening. Took me a minute to figure it out because, unfortunately, I had no idea that was a fight last night.
Yeah.
Which speaks to me as far as like what in the world is going on with boxing that I didn't know that was a heavyweight bout. I knew some UFC fights. I heard about them going on yesterday, but I had absolutely no idea that there was a fight, a boxing match last night. So I'm kind of concerned. Say what again?
UK fighters. See, this is what happened when Americans don't get the belt. Like when they like it's like 4 belts in each division, and 3 of them belong to guys in the UK. That's Americans. We don't be following that stuff, man. You like, Wilder got the belt. Who he fighting? Fury? Okay, cool.
Okay, we watch it.
Yeah. But when these other guys got it, people don't be caring. And they fought in Saudi Arabia some weird time in the afternoon. So that. First of all, that don't work for us. We watch fights at nighttime, which is why you knew UFC was fighting. But so what happened is he had his whole meltdown, and everybody was like, "Hey, man, Joshua lost it, man. That dude crazy, man. He had this big meltdown and this and that." And I don't even care about the meltdown. Of course, it was weird behavior and everything else, but what I really wanted to talk about to it was the fact that everybody clowns this guy for having a meltdown, right? And it just makes me say to myself, I wonder, do people not like give they all to nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like where you can just sit around and and you just see a guy who he's in the ring. He can't understand what happened. He's asking the guy to beat him. How did you beat me? You're not strong.
Yeah.
Like he said,
and especially
I'm dedicated. I gave my all. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's trying to figure out.
And it's not like he lost like by KO, TKO, or whatever, split decision, you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you have something that goes down like that, it's hard to accept defeat, especially when you say like, "Hey, look, man, I'm dedicated. Like, I know what I did in that ring. Like, how can you tell me this?
Yeah.
You know, I know what went down. I know what I put into it." And you might have a point. Maybe people don't understand it because people aren't like. We talked about the participation trophy era.
Yeah.
And people just getting nods because you know, you participate. Okay, so you can accept your L because it doesn't mean much to you at all.
Yeah. It's he went out there and I seen a clip of him crying in the post-fight conference and whatnot. And it's just like people like, okay, you can feel how you feel about how he reacted to it, but at the root of all that reaction is the passion of a man who said he left it all in the gym and all in the ring. No, for you to laugh at somebody and talk junk about them for having a meltdown because they gave their blood, they sweat, they tears, they passion, their heart to something. They gave their all to something. They were vulnerable to something. They wanted something. This guy said he knew he was the underdog going into this situation, but he still tried. He gave his all. He got a new coach. He said, let me try something new. Let me try new approaches. And for you to do all of that, look at yourself and say, I was dedicated. I did it all. And it wasn't enough. And you not to understand why it wasn't enough because you tried your best. People just don't understand what that's like. It makes me say, have you never tried for anything? Have you never wanted to win? You know what I'm saying? Have you?
Yeah.
Forget the sportsmanship of it. You know what I'm saying? As a person, you ain't never laid it all on the line. You never just said, I'm all in on this, failed, and then, hey, I done took my L's on stuff and gave every option that I thought failed and didn't have a camera in my face afterwards when I'm trying to figure out why I failed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it makes me say, as people on social media, y'all ain't never gave it all and failed at something before? Like,
yeah, like you're gonna have some kind of mental situation to where like, hey, it pulls on you. You know what I'm saying? It just like you look at any sport, like especially at the biggest competitive times, you know, you see all those emotions. When you win, you got emotion. When you lose, you should have emotion too. Especially when you put that particular dedication into something. You know, I think that it's just now maybe the society is just different to where, you know, we're okay, or maybe that's what we've been taught, and maybe this whole mental health thing phase that we've gone through now, to where, hey, look, if you lose, it's okay. If you don't make it, it's okay. So now it's like we're looking at somebody who accepts a loss in a tough spot, especially when it's not definitive, to say, nah, man, this guy's losing it. He lost it. Nah, he had a real human emotion to something that he was tied to very, very deeply. You know, you should have dedicated
your life. You dedicated your life to something. You became a professional. You reached the highest points of something. You failed. Realized that failure was an option again. You went back to the drawing board and gave everything you had and failed again. And you're not entitled to feel something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sports aside, in life, we can't all relate to that at some point in time. Like, well, you know, you said, hey, man, I want this in life. And then you tried your best to figure out a way to get it. And your best wasn't good enough. And you have to live with that failure and try to figure it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, nobody knows what that feels like. Like, you know what I'm saying? Am I tripping? Or like, or we all just can laugh and judge people like, loser, look at him crying. Like,
that could be twofold though. You know, maybe we like to ridicule people who lose because it makes us feel better that we don't have certain wins.
Yeah.
You know, so it's easy for us to point out somebody else's meltdown because, you know, I'd rather you pay attention to him, or I'm gonna draw attention to him because, you know, I've had a certain feeling and I couldn't hack it. So boom, look at him. Let me point to him. That could be one aspect, or it could be the aspect that people just are so disconnected with that concept. So it could be played on two different sides of that spectrum. People are so disconnected with dedication.
Yeah.
Because I think the society's taught that, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to. If you don't hack it, it's all right. When before previous societies, previous generations, it was all or nothing. Do we have an all or nothing society anymore? Or is it easy to quit and just go into something else? Okay, I couldn't make it here. I'm just gonna, like, are we being taught that now? Is that why we're seeing what we're seeing? Are we being taught because it's okay? If you don't hack it, it's okay. You don't got to try hard no more. You know, I see parents teaching their children that now and say, hey, look, if you don't make it, it's not the end of the world. Instead of saying, no, you better get your butt up, get in there and go harder. You know, give it some more effort. Give it some more effort. Now, you can't quit because now if you quit and you're not tied to it, you don't have that emotion. So maybe people are disconnected from that emotion.
Yeah, I agree, man. And I'm thinking what you said about the discipline plays a big part of it. Like nobody, I don't know, man. I guess they don't know what it's like to like have all your go in all or nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
or to really
all my
want
eggs
something
in a basket. Yeah, like I have really a passion for something. I gave everything. There was nothing else, no other option. I put all my chips on the board. I pushed them in. I said, I'm all in. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm betting the house. Like, people don't know what it's like. Like, and how can you achieve greatness without that level of effort? Like, you know what I'm saying? That let me know that man wanted to be great. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't work out for him. And it doesn't mean that greatness still can't be achieved, but because really anybody that I ever thought was great lost. You know what I'm saying? So
true. True.
Look at Jordan hugging that championship trophy, tears pouring down his face on the floor. Part of that was because his dad died, but you know what I'm saying? You don't get that level of emotion if something don't mean something to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? He won. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, like, how you think they felt in the other locker room after they gave their whole season and lost? Like, you know what I'm saying? You think they want some tears from some grown men in the other room? Yeah, it was a game. But so what? It ain't about that. You can take that and make that relevant to your own life. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that's ever started a business and went bankrupt, they was laying in the room crying, trying to figure it out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever it may be. Like, trying to get them bills paid and you working doubles or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. Like, somebody, I don't know, man. It's just weird to me, man, that's what we at now. We laugh at everybody's failures, but nobody's trying. You don't want to try, I guess. Like,
you don't want to try. Think it's cool. It's cool. Nah, if you don't make it, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? There's always another option. Nah, but for some people in some circumstances, there's no other option. There's no other option. You know, the whole win or go home mentality. Do we still have that in the society?
Man, I seen a video with
all or nothing.
Shaman Umpert. I forgot it how you say it. Is that how you say the name?
Iman Shumpert.
Iman Shumpert. Yeah, I said it backwards. Iman Shumpert. Yeah, he was talking about Kobe, and he said Kobe said, you know, people always talk about you put all your eggs in one basket. And he was like saying, well, what if I told you the secret was all you had to do was make some more eggs, and people was laughing at him and stuff. But his point behind that was put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go for it. Like, you know what I'm saying? That too many people look at, hey man, what's my plan B and plan C? The moment you start looking at plan B and plan C, you might as well just go for plan C. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you already planning for plan A to fail.
you plan for A to fail and you're looking for your out on if B works also. So C is the thing that you looked at that was attainable to you. So just go get the thing that you looked at that was attainable to you. Because you don't believe that you can do A. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately. And there's too many people that's scared to jump out there and without a parachute, like Steve said back in the day, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to jump, baby.
Yeah.
Like, and people don't want to jump no more, man. Like,
yeah. That's where we might be going in society now, man. It's a scary place to be. Place to be.
And people scared to. It's almost like the Loke syndrome, and you know what this means when I say the Loke syndrome is people don't want to try because they know you about to get picked on if it don't work out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know what you're talking about now.
I ain't gonna holler at her because he gonna get me if she play me. Like, it's the Loke syndrome.
You gotta be like, man. You gotta sit back and say, you know what? I don't care who clown me. Let me go for it. But now we take a back seat. Yeah, we take a back seat because we fear that you know what I'm saying, that spotlight being put on us for not hacking it. You know, and I was talking to another one of my young guys and talking to them about the difference between failure and disappointment. That a lot of times we categorize our disappointments and call them failures.
Mm-hmm.
When a lot of times we haven't failed. We haven't failed yet. We've only disappointed ourselves. You know, now there are times when we do fail and we learn from those failures, but then there's times where failure hasn't even been struck yet. We've only been disappointed in particular instances, which gives us even more opportunity to learn from those disappointments and build back stronger and still press forward and succeed before we hit the mark of failure. It's just that a lot of times we prematurely identify disappointments as failures.
I agree with you 100%. Well said. That's precisely what it is. A disappointment or a bump in the road. I mean, failure is more like you say, it's that it's a period. You know what I'm saying? It's the end of the sentence. It's the end of the road. Like, all right, I'm done with that chapter and it didn't work. I failed.
Yeah, and then a series of disappointments can lead to a failure.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily defined as failure yet. Yeah. And a lot of times we confuse that.
Yeah, not until you're done, then you can label it a failure. You know what I'm saying? But
even when you're done, even if you failed and you said you finished, you hit the finish line and said I failed, that doesn't mean you can't run the race again.
Right.
You know? So even failure is not definitive.
Hey, and here's another point. Can you be proud of yourself in your failure?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So like I don't have to, maybe I'll never be the greatest. Maybe my goal is to be the greatest and I'll never reach that goal. You know what I'm saying? But do you look at yourself as a failure because you didn't reach the mountaintop, but there's so many wins, small wins along the way that you got to be appreciative of. You know what I'm saying? Like you might have reached levels the average person will never get to. Like, look, Charles Barkley, right? Never got his chip, but he reached levels the average man will never get to. Now, he could easily look at himself as a failure because he didn't get what his ultimate goal was, but that would be unfair to himself to judge himself that way because he had so many victories along his way. Like,
and then if you look at the fact that how long his career has been sustained as far as like being a well-known figure after he retired, can you honestly say that his career was a failure? Like, he probably one of the most prominent figures after his NBA career of people who's never won a championship.
Yeah.
You know, even more prominent than, say, an Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
You know, because you see Charles Barkley every day.
Right.
You see him every day. You know, he's still in the public eye. You know, he still has opinions that matter. You know, he still speaks on the game, and he's still seen on TNT every day. I think he's retiring from that too, if I'm not mistaken. But the fact that the relevancy has remained so high, even for somebody who's never won,
right?
Quote unquote. So where is his failure truly?
Right. You never know
and
where your journey would have took you without those disappointments.
and say if he would have won the championship, right? And he was just satisfied with that. And then when he retired, just rode off to the sunset. And you never heard from Charles Barkley ever again, really. And never
how much you would have missed
heard him.
out on.
Yeah. Yeah. Look how much he probably would have missed out on. Everybody's path is written differently.
Yeah.
He's probably made more money after the NBA without winning the championship than he would have if he would have won 2 or 3 championships and just been satisfied with that. I can just go retire, go play golf every day, and just go duck off and hide off on some island somewhere. Right. And I pop up for every night in that NBA game or 50th, 75 anniversary, at some kind of all-star event or whatever. I pop up then. But nah, he stayed relevant. Probably because he didn't win the championship.
Right.
So now I got more to give to the culture.
And the crazy thing, he ain't the personality that should have been who he became.
Right.
Charles Barkley on some George Foreman stuff, man. Like just the nasty dude that went on to become this lovable guy. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it shouldn't have.
Right. Yeah, because late 80s, early 90s, man. What's his quote? Like, I'm not supposed to be nobody's role model.
Not me. I'm gonna spit on you. I'll punch somebody in the crowd. Like, I'm not a role model.
Throw somebody through a window. You know what I'm saying? I'm throwing people through the windows.
Don't want to be like me. I'm gonna eat my pizza, get fat, and I'm gonna go play ball and do what I want to. Like, hey man, but that's great points that you bring up, man. Shoot, I mean, you can look at a Skip Bayless and make that point, man. What if after high school he'd have said, man, all right, that's me in sports. I'm done with sports. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he'd have just let his love of sports end at that weak career he had in high school, like,
yeah, right.
But
now
he's somebody now in the world of sports. Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like his love of sports
you took that disappointment. You take that disappointment and it made him this.
He went way further than he ever would have went as an actual athlete with his speaking.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Sports.
I agree.
So one disappointment, one failure led to more opportunity and better things, but you don't know until you put yourself out there and try. You got to be vulnerable. We're all unwilling to be vulnerable, and be hurt, lose, not achieve our goals, things not working out how we expected in our head, and having to go back to the drawing board.
We're at a scary place if we're okay with not hacking it, because it's not hacking it. It's like we said, what probably drove Skip Bayless to continue to do what he did. That passion behind it. Okay, I didn't hack it here, so I got more to give. We so okay with not hacking it. Then all right, I'll dial back. It's fine. It's whatever. Instead of taking that and saying, you know what, I got a little bit more fervor behind me now because I didn't hack it.
Right. And I bring Skip up just because the athletes clown him about his statistics in high school. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it's funny, but look at
what
me
my
now.
Man did for 50 years. A 50-year career of talking about it and doing very well for himself. You know what I mean?
Because he didn't let go of that passion for sports.
Mm-hmm.
He could have easily let go after that disappointment. You know what I'm saying? Like, he still loved sports in general and was able to take it to the next level, man. So I don't know, man. It all comes back to caring about something enough to go for it. You know what I'm saying? And let life take you on whatever journey it takes you with that love for what you're doing. Like, but I don't know, man. That's what I wanted to speak on with the whole meltdown situation, man. Mm-hmm. Watching that clip and watching social media kind of tease him about it. It's just like, wow, man, we don't y'all don't care about nothing.
We can't respect the man's emotions anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's cool, sportsmanship. Yeah, compliment the next person for winning this and that. We expect our athletes to act a certain way, and this and that, and say a certain thing after competition. But realistically, emotions are high afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you just got in a fist fight. If your sport is fist fighting, like it's especially high. And like,
emotions are gonna be up there.
Yeah, you're gonna put a mic in my face afterwards and put cameras all around me. Let me get myself together. Like, you know what I'm saying? Before you go ask me questions about it. Like,
yeah. And it wasn't a definitive L. Like, if you just got your butt beat now and you're humble. You know, all right, man, chill out a little bit. You just got humbled. Come on, buddy. Like you ain't got too much to stand on this little temper tantrum you're throwing. I can understand that. But like you said, a split decision. Yeah, you had every right to be as upset and throw your temper tantrum as you see fit. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. And once again, for anybody listening, I'm not saying I'm co-signing the temper tantrum and this and that. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I'm not saying I would have personally acted that way. I'm just saying I understand. That's all.
You can understand it. Yeah. I can understand
it. Like, while we all laughing at it, let's step back and put ourselves in the shoes for a second. Can you understand it? You should be able to. And if so, you know, give people a break, man. Like,
right.
Everybody, you know, but whatever. Anyway, man, what's your final thoughts on your cigar, man?
Man, Rocky Patel 55, man, it's a great cigar. Great cigar. You know, now well into my second third, as you see. You know, and guess what? I got those hints of cocoa I was looking for. It's in there.
There you go.
But are we ready to rate? Is that what we're doing now?
Hey, man, let's rate it. Hold on, I'll give my final thoughts because mine's brief, and then I'll let you rate. I'll rate afterwards.
Okay.
But my final thoughts on this Oscar Vallardares is that it stayed true through and through. It had that same cocoa, earthy, woody notes to it. A little bit of coffee I kind of picked up on, and that was generally what the cigar was. You know. Didn't change much. I'm in my second third.
Do you think the leaf wrapper, instead of the plastic, the cellophane, do you think it did anything for the cigar?
Maybe that's what that initial, when I was saying it was very good initially, and not saying it got bad or anything like that, but initially it hit me really. Everything was kind of intense, all of those that I was tasting, but it was it mellowed out a little bit, you know what I'm saying, also, and just kind of stayed what it was as it mellowed out. So possibly the intensity of when I initially began to smoke it, maybe that came from the leaf versus what do you call it, cellophane, versus that or plastic, whatever it's called. But other than that, I didn't notice. If so, I'd have to, you know, try another one, I guess. Maybe not this exact
another one like that. To see how consistent that intensity is, or those particular flavors, those nuances you were getting. Okay, right. Okay. I can respect it. So do we got a rating? You got a rate?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and rate it. For the Oscar, I will give it a I go 3.7 on this one. And
okay.
Once again, we go 1 to 5. 3 would be, you know, average, and anything above 4 is what would you say? An excellent cigar?
Yeah, excellent cigar. Anything 4 and up is top notch, yeah. Which is hard to get. It's hard to get.
Anything 4 and up is top notch. I wouldn't say that this is top notch, but definitely an enjoyable cigar. I would smoke it again. I don't have no problems with it. 3.7 is a good score. Right. Just shy of being top notch. Probably if it had a little extra complexities and stuff like that, it would have put it over the top. But the fact that it has so far stayed what it was, you know.
You're coming off that Monte Cristo from last smoke, so.
Yeah, and I gave that 4.7, which is a big score. So that's the highest I've ever rated. It might be the highest on the show so far. So, but yeah. The Oscar Vallardares is a good cigar, man. I would suggest it.
All right.
If somebody said they were grabbing it, I say, all right, grab it.
Yeah, cosign. It's a definite go. All right, so the 55, like you said, it's not a It's not a foreign smoke, so it's not the first time I ever smoked it. So I kind of knew what to expect already, and didn't disappoint. Really good smoke, stayed good quality all the way through. It gave me those notes I was looking for. Good earthy in the beginning, got me a little bit of cocoa in the second half. We'll see what the third gives me. But if I have to give it a rating out of 5, I'm gonna go with a 4.1. 4.1. It's one of those top-notch cigars. Definitely one of the ones I intend to keep in my humidor on a regular. I haven't been over the last few months or so, but yeah, this is one of the ones that I like to keep in my humidor, if given the opportunity.
There we go. Hey, we appreciate y'all for tuning in this week to the Cigars and Everything Else podcast. This was the my fault. This was the Steph Curry episode.
Steph Curry, come on.
I'm sorry, man.
Props to the chef, man. Come on now.
Hey, man, Pops was the original chef, man. Anyway,
yeah.
We thank y'all for tuning in, man, to this episode, man. See y'all next week.
All right, yeah, cigars up.
Yes, sir.